What's up, guys? Farooqi Bros here, back with another Built Different stream. And today for you guys, we're going to be talking about a range of topics from DC to the latest releases. But I want to start off with Jurassic World Dominion, which came out this weekend worldwide. And people are debating it heavily across social. And I wanted to kind of get our quick thoughts out. But to change up our normal format, this topic will just do two of us. We'll do just me and Zion, and then we'll move on to the next one and keep it kind of going a little quicker pace than normal. So let's get into it. And of course, feel free to comment and leave your thoughts. Black Adam's the next topic, but Jurassic World Dominion. I'll give my thoughts on it first. And I tweeted about this last night, but to me, the Jurassic World franchise is kind of experiencing the law of diminishing returns in the sense where the first film, Jurassic Park 1993, like it's straight up cinema, and it pushed filmmaking forward. It changed the way that people even made blockbusters. It was a complete different, it was new to what cinema was, and it changed the game. You know, literally one of those that changed the game. Unfortunately, every sequel that came afterwards, Jurassic Park 2, Jurassic Park 3, Jurassic World trilogy, has, in my opinion, continuously gotten worse and worse from that first movie, and they just never caught it again. And surprisingly, I was trying to think of before the stream of another franchise that's had that same experience where just the first movie and then nothing else kind of could capture what that movie was. And for some reason, I can't think of it. So if one of you guys do, let me know, where it's like just it could never catch what the first movie was. And that's what happened to Jurassic World. Jurassic World 3, or Jurassic World Dominion, which was kind of supposed to combine and kind of put all 6 movies under one kind of rug. And now, in my opinion, unfortunately, I thought the film kind of sold what could have been done. The promise of getting the whole cast together, the original legacy cast, in my opinion, was not that great. I don't want to get into spoilers for this specific one, but I will say that just like I think they could have done a few things better with the characters, with the score, with the direction. It just felt unfocused, and in many ways, it felt like the kitchen sink was being thrown on us. So to give that analogy further, it felt like they had a dartboard of every single fan service moment they had to do, and just one by one kept hitting you with it, and it never quite felt like a cohesive overall finale. So my expectations were high because I love Jurassic franchise. I love dinosaurs and all that, but it just unfortunately did not do it for me. But Zion, I'm interested what you thought about it. Are you on my side on this one? Do you have a different opinion? Go for it.
Well, firstly, I don't think it's as bad as people are saying. Like, it's not unwatchable or some kind of like abhorrent movie in the Jurassic like film franchise, because if you think about it, of course, the first one, it stands out not only because like the technical stuff and just the way it was shot, obviously was much higher quality, but there's a certain novelty you had with the first one that you can't recapture again, because the reason why you can't think of another franchise like this is because any other film, any other story, you can keep evolving, because if the dinosaurs are like the quote unquote villains, right? Even though the humans are the villains in some aspects, that goes both ways, but it's like the antagonists are the dinosaurs and they're trying to get away from the dinosaurs. It's just the same thing over and over again, because the dinosaurs are just mindless, animalistic creatures. So there's no narrative through them. And that's why all these Jurassic movies will always be very shallow for that reason. And that's partly why the first one stands out so great, not only because it's just an amazing film, but because anything else after they tries to recapture what that did, they can't, because the novelty of the first one is really what props it up as being a very special, a very great thing, and a very technical achievement thing for its time. And as you kept going, as the films kept releasing, and obviously it kept getting worse and worse and worse. But really, what more could they do when the dinosaurs, you can't do much of the dinosaurs outside of what they did with the first one? So it can only be repetition. It can only be, oh, let's do the scene again and reformat. And I don't think that complaint was as bad, because that's what Rise of Skywalker was. Rise of Skywalker was just, oh, let's do this moment, but with the new characters. And what's wrong with this guy? It's just repeating the same moments and moments, but because all the characters are three-dimensional, thinking, reasoning beings. Even though there's aliens and other creatures, they're all humanistic and have like thought process. You can get a better story, a better narrative going. But because the dinosaurs are just animals, you can only do so much with them. So I don't knock them for just redoing and rehashing and doing those fan service moments. I think that's all they could have done, because what else is there to do in this movie? So I don't think it's as bad as what people are saying, that, oh, it's just fan service, or Shaw saying that that's all it is, because what else could they have done aside from that? So I don't knock them for doing that. I don't think it was so horrible or so unwatchable. I thought it was just okay. It wasn't great, obviously, but it was like a B- to C+ movie, but it wasn't something like, it wasn't the worst of the Jurassic franchise, in my opinion. I thought the other two Jurassic World films were worse, actually. This was close to the first Jurassic World, but it's slightly better just because of also the nostalgia and the fan service. I think that props up a little higher. But aside from that, the first Jurassic Park, it captures something special. And just because the nature of how these films are, you can't continue this franchise and have it ever be that again, because you can never capture the novelty aspect that the first Jurassic Park had.
Yeah, I'm on that point too. But ultimately, the movie has, just to give you a quick box office thing, it made $150 million this weekend. So of course, it's going to be a big movie for audiences. Everyone's going to show up to watch it. It's a Jurassic Park movie at the end of the day, and that's why, honestly, no matter how, I know this movie kind of tries to sell itself as the ending, but I won't be surprised if we get a Jurassic Park movie in the next 5 years. Like, there's too much money to be made. These franchises don't have an ending when there's that much money. Now, if the money ever went down, yeah, maybe they'll end it. But for now, it seems like the people love dinosaurs. What can you say? Hey, I'm one of them. Every time it's a Jurassic Park movie, I always fall for it. I'm like, this is it. This is the one. And then I always get disappointed. So unfortunately, it's like being a Lakers fan. Like you get excited for the beginning of the season, then you miss the playoffs. You're like, why was I excited? And that's how I felt about Jurassic World Dominion, unfortunately. Yeah. So that reference was for Umar, by the way. All right, next topico is the Black Adam trailer, which dropped early this week. Obviously, The Rock has been cooking up this marketing strategy for the past year with this whole, the hierarchy of the DC universe is about to change. And you hear that line so many times that at this point it's getting a little tiring. But the trailer finally dropped, and a lot of us, we talked about Black Adam a few times. We're like, this could be one of the better DC movies, because everything The Rock has been saying, it's going to be darker, it's going to be more different, it's going to be hardcore, and then there's no hand holding and stuff like that. And then finally we get the trailer. And instead of me giving my opinion first, Umar, why don't you tell me what you thought about the trailer?
Well, I was gonna make this point anyways, but it goes hand in hand with what you've already kind of set up, which is that it feels like an MCU, movie. That's pretty much it. It'll be something we'll go watch and then forget 2 hours later. So yeah, it's all right. I mean, the action. I personally, I think it was Samir that said the CGI is bad, but I thought it was alright, to be honest. I thought the visuals were pretty good, actually. I didn't think it was pretty bad. But as far as like the acting, The Rock is The Rock. Like, he's actually The Rock in this. He's wearing the Black Adam suit. And then don't really care about the villains. Like, doesn't really. There's no there is a story, but it's like, I don't know, it just feels like it's gonna be something very just like linear MCU-esque. Not really gonna have a lot of dissection. It'll be what it is. I don't even know how to put it. But yeah. And I'm not a fan of that, so I can't say that I'm excited for this one.
Yeah, part of me, the first word that comes to mind when I saw the trailer was generic. A little generic, kind of by the numbers. I like Dr. Fate, so I think that was interesting to see him. But some of the other costume designs, in my opinion, are a little weak. I think, again, I agree with Umar 100% that The Rock is just acting like The Rock. And I thought that, there's a lot of selling in this movie that he's going to be trying to really push himself as an actor forward. But at the end of the day, I feel like whether it's his fault or not, he just is who he is, and it's hard to separate him from the costume he's wearing, and that made it a little harder to believe the movie. Samir, what about you? Like, what did you think about the movie? Because you, from the four of us, you've been pretty consistent that you were looking forward to Black Adam. So I want to hear your thoughts on like if this trailer is meeting your expectations thus far.
I mean, I was looking forward to it because of everything we saw from before, and the little teaser made it seem interesting. But after this trailer, I think the trailer was a little disappointing. It, like you and Umar said, it looks very generic, looks very average, nothing too special, like just an average MCU level movie. That's what it looks like, and obviously The Rock is playing himself, like you guys said. I think that maybe when it comes out, we'll see that his role is a little more serious when they do Black Adam's background, but I think because of how generic it looks so far, I think by the end he'll be The Rock again, just wearing the Black Adam suit. That's the problem.
Yeah, it's one of those things where it's confusing that like this movie's been developed for so many years. Development has been so many different versions of scripts. I mean, there was versions of this movie that was supposed to have Superman in it. Clearly, it's probably not going to be the case. But so this movie's gone through certain many ringers. In fact, even The Rock was saying in an interview that originally the Shazam movie, the first Shazam movie, was supposed to be a dual movie where it was me half, Billy Batson's origin story and half Black Adam's origin story, and then they broke that movie apart into two movies, one about Shazam, one about Black Adam. And the way The Rock always described Black Adam, I thought like, wait, he's describing it as so dark. How can this guy meet up with Shazam later down the road? Because obviously they're the two polar opposites. And after seeing this trailer, I'm like, oh, that's why. In the end, it does fit, and I could see Shazam in this universe because it is not nearly as dark or as gritty as The Rock claimed it would be. And again, that's fine. Some people want the humor, some people want this kind of stuff. For me, like, it doesn't land when like he catches a rocket in a very dramatic way and the guy's like, oh, he caught a rocket. I'm like, okay, like from a screenwriting perspective, it's just not strong. So I hope that it gets better over time. But before I go to Zion, I'm just read a couple of comments. Fatima saying that she's looking forward to Hawkman and hopefully Dr. Fate has done well, but his acting, The Rock's acting, is really repetitive. And then Claire jumps in saying, absolutely not hyped. WWE actually killed my excitement. Only Matt Reeves is my boy now. So Zion, I mean, where do you stand on this Black Adam trailer?
I mean, I agree with all the points that were made. I think it is very MCU-esque, especially like the line you said, oh, yeah, he caught a rocket. Like those kind of like quips just to throw in there for no absolute reason, like absolutely no reason except for comedic purposes. I think for a film like Black Adam, like you said, he's been The Rock has been just hyping this up as a very dark, a very like serious movie about this character who obviously has a tragic past. And to see this trailer, the first thing that came to mind to me was like Assassin's Creed, actually, because you think in your mind that, oh, Black Adam or Assassin's Creed, they have like a very mythical, a very like a certain feel to them. And when the trailer comes out, it's like rap music. Funny that both had Kanye West, but it just did not fit the tone of the movie at all, at least what I was expecting. And like you said, The Rock is just The Rock, and it doesn't seem like he's acting at all. He's just himself saying the lines, which is obviously a bad thing. You could hope that it just in the trailer it seems that way just to get people to show up to the theater. But hopefully in the film he actually shows some acting, or his Black Adam's actually a serious or a different character, like an actual moving performance, rather than we're seeing the trailer right now, which is a generic Rock movie that just he's wearing this costume. But I think like Fatima said, like Shah said, that Dr. Fate, Hawkman, they all look fine, they all look cool. I don't get what this movie is supposed to be. I think unless they really make him to a full villain by the end, I don't get what he is. He's supposed to be an anti-hero. What are they doing with this character? Because if he's supposed to be a villain for Shazam, it doesn't seem like it from what this trailer is showing. So I'm just wondering to see what they actually do in the movie, and maybe through this movie he'll actually become a full villain. And I hope that happens, because the way it's looking now, it looks, like I said, very generic and too comedic for what this character should be. This movie should have been a more serious movie, and The Rock should have been allowed to show a more serious tone rather than fall back on his natural like, comedic roots that most of his films have. And maybe we'll see it, maybe we won't. As far as this trailer shows, I'm worried for the film, but I still have slight hope that maybe they're just packaging the trailer this way just to get people going to theaters, but then it'll actually a more serious experience when we get there.
Yeah, I mean, and I think about the wider DCU as a whole. I think Claire, when she brought up that excitement for the DCU, I think that's Umar what I want to jump back to you about on the same topic, because like we debate DCEU for years on this show, on this channel, and it's just like, where's it going, what's it doing, and now we have, obviously this is kind of the last, not the last, this is one of the last movies of the Hamada era, because now Discovery's taking over. So really this and Aquaman 2 are probably the last two, unless I'm missing, and maybe Blue Beetle. But these are the last few movies that are part of the previous regime before the new ownership is taken over. Do you think that this regime overall, this regime, like this version of DCEU, like did it overall fail in your mind? Like, like if we take it to totality, like the Hamada era, it's like the Batman, Wonder Woman 84, what movie came out?
Joker,
Joker.
Which they tried to undercut, so doesn't really belong there.
Technically, Zack Snyder Justice League.
The Joker, the Batman, Zack Snyder Justice League. All three of those don't really count. In my opinion, that's not a part. Maybe Matt Reeves, but the Batman does, because that's what they push. Because that's what they push for.
Yeah.
Even though they were trying to get Ben Affleck back, like that was kind of like on the radar. But
yeah.
So I could give them the Batman. Obviously, the Batman's like the one that you can be like, okay, this was amazing.
Both were out of universe. So that's the main thing your point made. All three movies are not part of the DCU. So
yeah, so I guess
every in-universe movie though, I think has been really underperforming.
Yeah, and two of the three that didn't want them to release.
The Suicide Squad as well. That was the other one I was missing.
The thing is that like the DC fans, even before, like one of the reasons why the DC fans were so loyal to their own material was because as Saf says, some random word that no one knows what it means, is that they love the fact that it's a unique experience compared to what the MCU offers. So like that's the thing. And so I feel like when they started trying to mimic, trying to copy, trying to just make their movies in the same way, because of course those movies have been making a lot, like they just make more money. Captain Marvel made $1 billion, right? Captain Marvel made $1 billion. That movie's like actually garbage. Like it's actually a bad movie, like very bad. So I don't think they care about like. I don't think they at a certain point like Warner Brothers didn't care about like what makes their product unique. They just cared more about like, oh, what's gonna make the most money, and they looked at the model that the other side, I guess, is using. And so when you look at like what that actually translated in terms of like on screen, it didn't work, right? So that model actually didn't work. Like you didn't make the money you wanted on any of the movies, right? Even before I mean, I guess Man of Steel, even Batman v Superman, they all count as this one era, right? Because Walter Hamada just came up, but that's just one part of it. Even those movies didn't make what they wanted, even though we can sit here and say, oh, it's like a unique experience of what the MCU offers. So it's like I guess they're trying to figure out how to translate these characters. But I think that the new regime that's come in, I think they're seeing that the model that will work for the DC universe, or the wider kind of just the DC everything, is the Todd Phillips model, which is you make a movie that's a little bit more like you're gonna put less money into it, but you're gonna make something that's like a character study type thing, and it might outperform the other movies. Also, it's very technically well made. The Joker is winning awards like crazy, right? So maybe that's the niche that they are gonna go and target. But yeah, the current DCEU, I wouldn't say it failed, because of course like it failed based on their own expectations. So you can say that, right? The movies are successful. Like even if they don't meet like the level of Marvel, they're still pretty successful. You look at what they did. It's fine. It's financially they're still successful, but they're just not where they should be compared to their competition.
Yeah, and speaking of, you said character study, I want to jump to the next topic right there because you gave me the in. So Todd Phillips confirms that Joker 2 is in the works. He dropped this photo of the script, which in French I guess means madness of two. Samir, is that right? You are Canadian. So Joker, Madness of Two, roughly. Rupture is a rough title of the movie. But this confirms what we've been talking about for the last year. Will there be a Joker 2? We've been always debating it here and there on this show, and also discussing what the merits of a sequel would look like. Some of us feel like there should never be a sequel. Some of us feel like there should be a sequel. But either way, whether we like it or not, there is going to be a sequel. So the question is now, is it going to live up to expectations? And is it going to do what the first movie did? So Samir, I want to jump to you on this one. What do you think about Joker 2? Like, is this a good idea, or should have just left it alone?
I think my stance has always been that it wasn't needed, because the first one it's so good on its own, and this might take away from what that was. And I don't think this will live up to what that was because of how unique it was at the time. But I still think that it won't be bad. I don't think it'll be bad. I think it'll be pretty good. Still unnecessary though, and I don't know. I don't see which direction. I don't see how they're moving. What direction they're taking now. Still.
Yeah. Well, remember, Todd Phillips is not directing this movie, from my understanding. They're going to find a new director, so he won't be. He's just writing the script. As you can see, he's co-writing it with Scott Silver, but he's not directing it this time. So a new person is directing. And also, I don't think anyone's ever, and I could be wrong, I don't think anyone's ever won Best Actor for a movie for the same role twice. So I don't think Joaquin's going to be winning Best Actor again for Joker. He did it once. I don't think he's going to do it again. So what is the purpose of this movie? Are you going for the awards? Are you going for the box office? There's multiple ways you can go. So Zian, I mean, you've tweeted about this, so I saw kind of your early opinion, but how's it changed since then? Do you have the same kind of opinion? And then additionally, this Madness of Two, like, who is this other person who they're going to be probably talking about? Is it going to be another Joker? Is it going to be Harley? Is it going to be Bruce Wayne? Like, what other character are they going to be pairing alongside Joker for the second movie?
Well, yeah, I guess my first initial thoughts, I agree with Samir and I agree with you guys that it does seem unnecessary because, yeah, like I said, the first one was just something so special, and trying to recapture that is a very, very hard road to go on, and most people fail when they try to recapture the same magic as another movie did. But I think the one saving grace would be that that Joaquin's actor does no sequels, he does that type of thing. So if he is on board and he's seen the script, obviously he's going to be involved with the process. So if he's on board, if he's approved of it, then at least from a creative standpoint that they have something special there. Now it'll just be, can they execute it the same way or better than they did the first one, which obviously will be tough. They're very, very big shoes to fill. But Joaquin on board is the one thing where I'm like, okay, if you got him along to continue with the second film, then maybe there is something special here. Now, as far as who the second will be that be Harley Quinn? Will that be second Joker? I know they asked Willem Dafoe about this way before this announcement was ever made, and he made comments saying that, oh yeah, he would love to be a part of that in some capacity, or have there be like an imitator or like a second Joker who tries to like be the person that they saw, because obviously we saw in the movie at the end, they're all like galvanized by the Joker from what he did at the Murray show. And then at the end, when he's standing in front of the car, they're all inspired by him. So that will lead to its own birth of like crazy people who are now inspired to do these kind of crazy things that the Joker did in the first film. So let's see what direction they go. I don't think they're going to go Harley Quinn, but I wouldn't be surprised. But if they do, obviously people are saying, oh, Rooney Mara, she should just be Harley Quinn, which would probably be pretty good. But I feel like they would go actually a second Joker, like a more crazier Joker that's kind of following the footsteps of this guy. Now, how they execute and what the actual story is, we'll see. Will like Joker, like the original Joker, be for it and take him under his wing, or like against it and like mad that this new guy's taking his thunder or whatever, or stealing his thunder? Let's see how that goes. But my thing is that if Joaquin's on board, then clearly they have something good on the table. Now, whether it gets changed, because we know reshoots, those are things are a big fear. But if he's on board now with what they currently have, as long as they execute well, there could be something special. Whether it'll be better or match the first one, I honestly don't think so. But if they can just get close enough, I think that'll be good.
Yeah, go ahead, Omar.
I I really think that I mean I hope that Todd Phillips and like the studio itself is not thinking about it in the same way we are. Like if the thought process is you're trying to capture the what the first one did, you're never going to. So that would be a unrealistic kind of expectation. You got to go um into it with the understanding that you're not going to do that. So you should actually maybe move away from that completely. Like make something that is unique, complete, like as unique as possible, as different as you can from the first one. Not in like a natural way. Of course, like there's some things that might want to. There's some things that will naturally just gel, but it would make sense for them to just make it very different in all respects. Like even in terms of like the maybe like in the first one we had a very 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 like I don't even know how to describe the score that we had for the first one, but it was like a certain way. I don't know how to phrase that, but maybe in this one you can have the score be kind of very different. You can have the way the movie's shot. Obviously they're gonna have another director, and I think this is why they have another director. It's like they're gonna let someone else put their spin on it, and then it'll be quite different from what Todd Phillips did with the first one, without taking away too much from it because he's writing this one. So, it would. I actually think like it's pretty. This is one of those projects that could be a miss, like a big miss, because people will, no matter what, compare it to the first one. But it could also be very unique if they do make it very different. And there is like a Harley or it's another Joker involved. That's a pretty unique way to like make the second movie. Joaquin Phoenix might not even be the main character. It could just be another Joker. And then Joaquin Phoenix is kind of maybe he's there to set that up for a little bit, and then that's it. That's all his job is. Next thing you know, you got this other guy. Maybe that guy. The one thing I don't want, right? One thing I'd say I don't want is like I don't want a guy that's like in the background of the first movie. So they're doing the first movie again, but just another guy in the background. That would be the worst. That would actually be the worst. So that's what I don't want. That's like my biggest.
But you love Bruce Wayne being in the background in BVS and Man of Steel stuff is happening.
Yeah.
So obviously one version of the events are one theory is that Joker, maybe someone inspired by the Joker who becomes the actual Joker, and for Bruce Wayne is inspired, like John said, even more violent, even more crazy person inspired by Arthur Fleck, yeah. So and then who becomes maybe Jack Napier or whatever, like Joker you want to use. So maybe something like that. Maybe they're gonna go crazy. Maybe the second Joker is Jared Leto. How do you know? Jared Leto and Joaquin Phoenix together. I mean, who wants that? So so
maybe they should just make it the kid to make Bruce Wayne go nuts.
Yeah, like, I was thinking that. So that was actually my theory.
Try to get that kid an Oscar, man.
That was my working theory. Not the kid, but obviously they'll probably pick someone else, but maybe they would use the concept of madness of two. Batman can also be considered crazy. So it's like maybe he's also like his journey to becoming Batman. Though, would they do that with Matt Reeves doing his own thing? This is the first David Zaslav project. So like if you're looking at the changing of hands from AT&T to Warner Discovery, this movie is kind of the first movie under the new people under Zaslav. So, and he, as we saw, we talked about last week, he wants Todd Phillips as an advisor for DCEU. Him and Todd Phillips are tight. So it means whatever Todd Phillips has going to have a lot of influence on the future of DC. Whether that's a good thing or a bad thing, we'll see. But so Joker 2 is one of the first things kind of on the docket, to see if it do that, He said if they decide to do the copycat plan, I feel like it should be whoever killed Bruce's parents. So this is what Umar doesn't want. He's saying he doesn't want someone who's in the background to become the new Joker. But I think it'd be really, really like experimental to kill Joaquin Phoenix Joker early in the movie, and suddenly the rest of the movie some other Joker, and it's like what's happening, Like it would make people like
that would be crazy. A shock. That would be a shock for the audience. In all honesty, that doesn't sound like a bad idea.
Yeah,
that's like starting up like a.
Yeah, so in Fatima saying it'd be crazy to do a second film without any catch to the first one, kind of confirming the theory that there's multiple realities existing in his mind. This is also something because, as we saw, the clock never changed. And throughout Joker movies, a lot of people thought that, hey, maybe it's all in his head. And it leaves ambiguous in the end. We don't truly know if it's all in his head in the end of the movie when he's talking to his psychiatrist, But and maybe that psychiatrist is Harley Quinn. How do we know? So, but I'm just saying they can do whatever they want. So, and yeah, obviously for the score, I do think they should bring her back. Like I think again won an Oscar for it, or won one of the awards, not the Oscar. She won some of the awards, but she won the Oscar. Yeah, Her
Yeah,
and
she won
Rocky
the
both
Oscar,
won. Yeah, they both won respective Oscars for score and best actor. So,
That was important, so makes sense.
yeah, definitely. Okay, we gotta go quick. So this is just more I can solo this. So Anthony Hopkins got cast in Zack Snyder's Rebel Moon. Do I have a photo of him? I didn't upload a photo of him, but I think it's showing that Netflix and Zack are very involved in getting the highest kind of talent to jump on for this film. So I'm very excited to see how it develops and what comes next. But I did want to touch on Rebel Moon at least once before it's time to keep moving forward, and I'll move forward now. So quick thing on it is incoming cinema. I agree, and if you have more time, we're actually on a clock right now, I would spend more time on it. Samir, you have a 5-minute out, right? So we can do our funny topic. All right, so the funny topic of the day pretty much is another candy one. This is I think the food topics get the most influence here. So this is the food topic of the week.
We should switch to just one gotta stay.
So instead of one gotta go, it's one gotta stay. We gotta make it harder on ourselves. So only one of these candies can stay. The rest have to be forever forsaken. So which is the one that you would keep? So you got Twix, Almond Joy, Kit Kat, Butterfinger, Snickers, Reese's, a Baby Ruth, peanut M&Ms, and Oreos, like an Oreo bar. Never heard of it. But we'll just substitute it as regular Oreos. So what is the one? What is the one?
For me, it's a tough choice between Kit Kat or Almond Joy. Even if it was Mounds, if I choose Mounds, but I only like the almond and the Almond Joy, so I guess I'll choose Kit Kat. I'll keep Kit Kat and I'll get rid of the others.
What about you, sad boy?
Yes.
Sad boy Sam. Yeah.
Okay.
Is there another sad boy on the stream?
Listen, I'd probably go with Kit Kat. Yeah, I think Kit Kat's the right answer. Or Reese's. But
Reese's is like fourth or fifth on the list. It's not even that good. What are you talking about?
I'm
Twix, Almond Joy, Snickers,
Reese's
peanut M&Ms are all better than Reese's.
Reese's is top 3.
Reese's is slept on right now.
It is, yeah, it's slept on. Especially the cold one. You put it in the freezer for a few minutes.
Yeah, but it's the only one that if it's not cold is disgusting. A melty Reese's is like the worst thing on the list.
All the chocolates are bad if they're not cold.
No. A Kit Kat
Yes,
room temperature is fine.
That's
Almond Joy
actually
is
true.
fine.
That's actually true.
Reese's room temperature or warm is the worst.
It tastes fine. For me, it's between M&M's and Reese's. I'll probably go with Reese's, to be honest, because I'm a crazy man.
So Zion picked Kit Kat. Samir, you win Reese's. Pick one. You said one of the two. Which is your one? Kit Kat. So you have 2 Kit Kats, one Reese's, and I will go with Kit Kat too. So Kit Kat is my favorite. Too bad there's no Bounty bar on here. Otherwise, I would have chosen that. But
You already have Almond Joy. Almond Joy is better than Bounty.
it's not.
Yeah, it is.
First of all, Almond Joy is not even better than Mounds. So it's like the worst of all.
It's the same. It's just Mounds with an almond.
I don't want the almond. That's
And
the thing.
Mounds is better than Bounty.
I don't like almond. So, all right, let's go to the comments. Saf is saying Kit Kat. Claire is saying Snickers. That's our first Snickers vote. Robotic Uzi says Reese's or Oreo got to stay. So that's another Reese's we'll give it. Saf just keeps saying Kit Kat 3 times. Like we got it. Sammy says Butterfinger. So Sammy, I'm surprised there's a Butterfinger in the UK. Like I didn't know that.
Yeah, it seems like a very American type thing.
It does. It seems like an American chocolate. Oreo chocolate stays if it became more available. Oh yeah, chocolate, not the cookie. I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, in Canada they had the bar in the hotel. Like I tried one. It was good. It was good actually.
How come I never tried it? I was in Canada there too.
That's because times change. You do nothing.
So you had it like at 4 a.m.
No, I had it some other time.
M&M stays. Fatima, that's your choice. You say M&M stay. Remember, the choice is only peanut M&M, which I guess that would be one of the best. For me, it's one of the top 2. Butterfinger is found in the American section.
See, they have an American section in their supermarkets, but we have no British section here.
Americans are different. All right. It's in Food Town. Okay, thanks for the very, very deep cut reference. No one knows what Food Town is except for people who live in Jackson Heights. All right, so yeah, I think that. Oh, did I get mine? Oh yeah, mine is Kit Kat. If you didn't know. But my top three, yo. So mine is Kit Kat, M&M's, and Twix. All right, that alarm was not only for Samir to go; it's for all of us to go. So let us know. Oh, because you guys are very self-centered. Yeah, unfortunately. So what do you guys think about the Black Adam trailer? What do you think about Jurassic World Dominion? What do you think Joker 2 might look like? Let us know in the comments below and join the debate. From myself, from Zayan, from Umar, and from Samir, we're the Farooqi Brothers, and we'll see you next time. Peace out.